All right, welcome back to Mod Pop Thrift. I am Tom, and I'm a stay-at-home dad for 5 kids and a full-time eBay reseller. We're at the auction, and I'm a terrible person. I bought a bunch of stuff and won it at the auction before we ever went to Florida and kind of forgot about it, but they still have it for me. So I think I have 3 weeks worth of pickups today. So let's see what we got. I don't even remember what all of it is. All right, so I got what I came for and previewed the Wednesday stuff, and there's nothing that's going to draw me back. There's some neat stuff, but it takes a lot to get me out of the house. I'm a buzzard. A bunch of old Bosch new old stock spark plugs. Like, this is a 10-pack, which is weird because most vehicles like 6, 8, maybe even 12, but I'm sure somebody could tell me something that has a V10, but it's not a lot. Triton Ford make a V10, but that's not that's older than the Triton V10. Old Steak and Shake. I suspect it'll clean up. I mean, it's porcelain, but I don't know what I paid for any of this stuff. I have the receipt in my pocket. There's another cool mug. I think Insight Just It Must Be Right is an older slogan of theirs, so I think those are probably collectible. This is a rain stick. I like rain sticks. It went for $2.50, so I bought it. New old stock Polaroid camera and film for it. That went cheap. I remember bidding on it, and I was like, oh, I won't pay much for it, but I will buy it. These are a bunch of service station gas station mobile keychains. And there's a couple of knives. That's a nice looking knife. It looks like it might be a little beat up. And then a little baby gas pump. See what that's worth. Maybe I'll trade that right now. Daggone it, I forgot all that stuff that I owed Alex. A large Harley Topeka, Kansas 2007, and this one's Harley extra large 2009. Feels like it might, yeah, it's long sleeve. I was gonna say it feels like it might be long sleeve. And these I wouldn't have paid much for them because they're not worth a ton anymore, but they must have gone fairly cheap. These look like PlayStation socks from GameStop. New old stock. 3 pairs of socks. I fear not open them because I won't figure out I won't be able to sell them as old stock or as brand new. Genesis. Those are way cool. I have to look and see what I paid for that stuff. So for the boxes of spark plugs, I paid $10. That feels like a lot. For 3 boxes of spark plugs, she must have combined 2 of them. That feels like too much. The rain stick went for $2.50, and the Steel and Shake coffee mug were $2.50 for both of them, so $1.25. That seems like a pretty reasonable price. Harley shirts, paid $7.50 for both of them. PlayStation socks and Genesis socks, I paid $7.50 for each of them. And then for all of those keychains, I paid $2.50 a box for those keychains. Junk drawer with the knives and gas pump, I paid $2.50, and then that camera I paid $5. So this junk drawer lot that I paid $2.50 for is this. All 3 of the knives are made in China, so they're junk. This I'm going to probably end up giving away. These are, I can't imagine they're worth anything. They're from 1980, 2 years and a day before I was born. And then these snap-on key rings, we'll see if they're worth anything. But I'm gonna hit these 2 little church run thrift stores that are in Pekin, which is the next larger town over from the place that I live, that is the major hub area of central Illinois. So Peoria, and then Pekin's the biggest small town around Peoria. Anyway, There's a couple of church-run thrift stores. They're cash only. They're open Tuesday through Friday. And it happens to be Tuesday and I'm in town. So I geeked out for just a minute because this is Turbo Man. And the old ones are worth a fortune, but this one says Funko. And the Funko one can be worth picking up, but he's supposed to have a backpack that he's missing. And so this one is no good. There are some cool things here. What would you pick up next? Let's go to her. This is not Skate Girl. That's a cool helmet, but I think she's supposed to ride a tricycle. She's $2. So here's a thing that maybe not everybody knows to do, or at least this is how I do it. So this is a 1974 Mattel baby doll, but without using Google Lens, which can take an extra minute. How do you know what this is? Well, I do 1974 Mattel baby and then put tested or works, because she has mechanics in her, and so somebody's going to list that as tested and works, and then they'll know, they'll tell you that it's a baby that-a-way. Probably not worth picking up, especially untested. There's just really low sell-through rate. No, I was gonna pick up, but it's the like early 90s, and I haven't traditionally done super well with those. The ones that are all hard plastic bodies do pretty well. Here's Scrooge from Christmas Carol and Dash. I know what I'm missing, guys. What would you be picking up? Hangry Hippos. That house, Hasbro house. Looks like that's a vintage year one. So this is $3, 1978 Hangry Hippos. Box is taped up, but it's in nice shape and it has the instructions. So we'll see about that. There's a DS game. Oh, it's Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? I thought there was something else over here. Oh, these bats. I can't imagine I'd do too well on these particular bats. So this is a drop 3. So 31 minus 3 is 28. So that's a drop 3, which is a good sign. And then it's a DeMarini. It's beat up, but when you touch it, it's not, like, I don't feel any dents. So I'm gonna comp it. It's $15. So they must assume that it's worth something. So I don't know a ton about bats, and when I looked this up, there were some models similar enough to this selling $5, $10, $20. So I'm not gonna spend $15 unless I think it's 50 plus shipping, and I think it's not 50 plus shipping. So Hungry Hippos is a game that they still make, but in this particular box, there are sold comps around $40. The lowest you can currently buy this is $45 plus shipping. And so I think we're gonna grab that for $3. Boggle is one that you find a lot. As a matter of fact, there are 2 on the shelf, and I only saw the vintage one first. For $2, it's probably worth picking up. It's never going to be a lot of money, but they sell awful quick most of the time. So I'm going to look at the other Boggle too, and then see if this Outburst, which appears to be sealed, is worth anything, but I would be surprised if it is. So there are 13 of this one available to buy right now on eBay, sealed, none sold. So I don't even know what it's worth, and I don't even know what they're asking, but it is not worth picking up. Hi-Ho Cheerio. If I was in a, like, let's do all the board games in the world kind of day, that might be something worth picking up. Scrabble Junior is never worth picking up because the tiles are cardboard, not wood. And a lot of times Scrabble's worth picking up because the wood tiles can sell by themselves. There was one other one that I was like, oh, that's interesting. But what's it? I don't know anything about that. That was the one where I was like, well, let's look into that because it could be something. There's just part of my brain that triggered like, hey, that's an older game that might have been on a BOLO list at some point. Nope, it wasn't worth anything. So we're gonna get 2 Boggles and Hungry Hippos. Baby club clothes. I always say look at the diapers. I've had a little bit of trouble since pandemic trying to be able to sell diapers. Sometimes they get taken down for price gouging if you're trying to sell really expensive vintage diapers. Those, it just occurred to me, like, we're having a baby. I don't need to buy vintage diapers, but maybe I need, for $4, I need a pack of size 1 baby diapers. So I'm gonna send a picture of these to Mrs. Mod and Pop. So this is funny. These are Huggies, and you put wipes in them through this top, and then they come out like a wipes. So you can buy a huge bulk thing of wipes, cut down a little bit, stick them in here, reseal the bulk thing, and just parse your wipes out a little bit. But Huggies no longer makes this, and so I tried to buy one on eBay for like $9, and the guy canceled the order. So this is 50 cents, but these are worth picking up, especially if you pick up 2 or 3. But they are they're hard to come by and very useful, and we're going to keep this one because I tried to buy one and I couldn't. Back here, this is probably MCO and very vintage. Not MCO. I don't remember. I tried to sound smart and I was wrong. Oh, and it's not what I thought it was. $3. It's cute. I don't know that without any branding I'm gonna try it, because people, you know, you have to figure out how to tell somebody to search for this thing. And so I don't know what keywords I would use. There's down here, there's more diapers. But these would be harder to put a date onto. So I'm gonna pass on those. Hats. There are so many people selling hats that the market is competitive enough that you really have to find the right thing. Like, this is Sweat Bandy, and it's a strap back, not a snapback. This one has a snapback, but it's not vintage, and Cresco isn't a nationally recognized thing. Now, if this was a snapback and had this patch thing on the side of it, that would probably be worth picking up, especially if it were cleaner and only $1. But I'm gonna leave it for that reason. Martinique, probably nothing, and I don't even know what HW is. Down here, this is a rope hat, which makes some difference, but this is not a brand I immediately recognize. Now, this kind of strap back can be okay, but this one is made in China. So, like, this has a couple of decent things going for it. It's definitely a vintage style hat. It may not be very old. It's the rope hat, but the logo sucks. And hats sell slow enough even when they're good that I'm not trying to buy stuff that's mediocre. Strap back, kind of beat. No. Just because, like, that is super generic. That's it says K Products on it, which K Products is a good brand, but Team 2008 USA, it doesn't say Olympic team, it doesn't say, it's just trying to be a little bit of something without actually achieving that authentic 100% great grandpa. Spring Jam 2017. So, like, a whole bunch of not much. Hickman and Williams Co. I don't know who that is. And I feel like a lot of people do really well with hats, and a lot of people who don't do well with hats are baffled by hats. So I'm kind of, there's a handful of hats I thought I'd do a little bit of a deep dive for you. Looks like Cairo Pyramids, but then it doesn't. Connors Industry, 20 years. I don't know what that is. It's a cool hat, and at $1. That might be worth picking up, except it's not a snapback and it doesn't really say much. Dunn Company, I suspect, is former mayor of Pekin. Bears, but then that's beat to death. That's a dad hat and it's a strap back, and so, and sure start. Now see, this is a snapback rope, vintage, really nice standy up top too, but it's signed, so unless I could figure out who it was signed by and that was something important, It's probably not worth picking up. Made in Taiwan, Republic of China, which makes it vintage. Quantum. Rolling Mills Services. Nice snapback. Cool looking embroidered hat, but Roy Mills Midwest Embroidery is a nice company. Probably not worth anything. This is just amazing. Nissan made in China. It's a like zip back with a net, weird alligator taking somebody's order maybe. That is all probably worth picking up if you're the right guy. But again, the same as like the horse in the other room, I don't know what this is. I don't know how to advertise it necessarily. It's going to take more time than it's worth to mess with. But like this neon rope, cool cartoon, decent back, not a regulation strap back, but it's not a snapback either. Snapback, embroidered Flowcon. A lot of these hats almost hit the mark, but it doesn't look like any of them are actually going to. Probably something like 70% of the hats that you find are just nothing and not worth picking up for $1. So I'm tempted to get this because I can't find anything at all about it. It's $4.50, new with tag, dry fit Nike. Number 2, this, in case you didn't know, is the Chicago flag. 6 stars for the 6 boroughs of Chicago. But it's Jabari Parker who no longer or plays for them. So, but I can't find another copy of the shirt existing. But does anybody want a Chicago Jabari Parker when he plays for the Milwaukee Bucks now? Probably wouldn't regret picking it up, but I think I'm going to leave it. Men's shoes. Probably nothing. Bass I don't pick up. I mean, I pick them up, but I don't leave with them. Pick them up and put them back down. That's a nice looking shoe. So it's got nailed heel. And so that means it's probably its original heel. Yeah, almost definitely. The back might have been replaced. $7. I'm not going to buy it unless I can find a branding on it because it makes all the difference in the world. And this is anybody younger than me might not know, this is a penny loafer. So you could literally put a penny in here, and people did at some point. And that was fashionable. This is a nice, well-made shoe, and if you knew more about shoes than I do, maybe it's worth picking up, but I'm not going to buy it. So this is an interesting mark on the bottom. An old Goodwill tag, which means somebody bought it probably to flip, and then it wasn't worth flipping, so they donated it here. Grandma Epcot Center. World Showcase. So it's got a chip on the bottom of it, and it says Grandma on it. So I think I'm going to skip it. But I like it a lot. But I just don't see a lot here. I like using these, so I'm going to grab this for me. Boy, they're not making it easy on us. You got to really want it to get to this thrift store. The town has the main road on the south end of town completely torn out to the dirt. So we are going into nearly new, which I often say is either like home runs or totally nothing. Hopefully it's home runs today. So this is their little hard goods section, but they sell a lot of clothes. This place is run by the local hospital, which just got bought out by a different hospital. So hopefully they continue to operate, but you never know about stuff like this. If you need a Coke t-shirt, I think this might be the place. Looks like they got a bunch in every size. I don't get this. Hopefully it works for them. They do a good work and they can raise a bunch of money, but they have so many of these shirts. Like they have, you know, probably 10, 15 in this size, and then they have 4 or 5 other sizes that they have that many in. So why not just make them $1 a piece and get them gone as quick as possible instead of 4? They didn't ask my opinion, but I give it freely anyway. Not much in the clothes, men's clothes today. Just a bunch of Coke shirts and a bunch of collared t-shirts. 1999 Rose Bowl, Wisconsin. We don't need no stinking Badgers. And it's Lee Sports, which is a pretty good tag, generally speaking. This series, Rebels, Americans, Furies, and Titans, there's like 7 books in that series by John Jakes. It can do well if you have the whole thing. It looks like they don't have the whole thing. Toys, board games, but nothing nearly as exciting as the other store. A giant llama. Oh, this is a pound puppy. I can tell by the face, but it's a llama pound puppy. And this is part of why we comp things. Not only because we want to know what it sells for, but also like we can figure out that this is a poodle, not a lamb, which makes more sense. But my brain saw a lamb and then wasn't unseeing it until I read somebody else's description. Bow, 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 bow. Cocoa melon. Kind of nothing in the shoes. These, if these were larger, they might do well. 7.5 New Balance walking shoes. New Balance do well when they're extra wide, but a size 7 is pretty small. Size D, which is a wider size, but it's not like double E. Eastland's used to be a really good brand. Eastland, those are probably made in the US. We'll look into those a little bit more. Alas, no, they are made in China. Hey girl. Sweaters, I'm coming up empty. I'm batting a 0. West Arc, West Wind. Nope. Man, I'd love to find something to buy, but I'm not gonna buy nothing. So I gotta take what they're giving me, which is nothing. I almost gave up, and then I found these. $6 for 8 of them. On the rocks. It's a novelty cup from the 70s probably, but they comp for like those 8. I could probably get 40-ish free shipping, and they're over 100% sell-through rate, but they're not like, there's only, I think there's 5 listed and 6 sold, so like it's not like there's 90 sold and they're selling every single day. So even at over 100% sell-through rate, the sales velocity is such that it's probably going to take me a couple weeks to sell them, but they should sell well. Craft Capital of America Silver, Dollar City. I think I'm just going to take those cups and call it a day. So I'm $40 in, but I suspect that like 8 of these The Rocks glasses are going to be $40 by themselves. And then this gold tractor, if you do buy it now, there aren't any available to be had lower than $70 at the moment. But if you do auction prices, you could win an auction lower than that. But then also the $70 one is in the box. So I think if I list it for $40, buy it now, and I'll have $80 out of my $30. I'll have $80 worth listing out of my $30 in stuff. I think it's pretty good return on a couple of unique things that will be easy to list. And the glasses will be super easy to ship. They're plastic, they're acrylic, they're not glass. And the tractor will be easy enough to ship. It'll just take a little bit more of a tender touch. That's pretty smart. I mean, if you have the room for it, $20 for a used air mattress, but to have them inflated so people know that they don't leak is pretty smart. $70 for a used TV. Looks like they might be ordering remotes for these TVs when they get donated. I've been looking at hats in pretty hard detail today. Let's look at these. These are blank, new old stock Odo, made in China. Probably 99 cents. Clothes here are always 99 cents. I always say I'm never coming back in here because there's never anything worth getting, or the stuff that would be worth buying they priced up to the point where it's laughable. And so far I haven't found anything to get, but I did bother to try again. Here's media. And the media prices are really good. Books are 79 cents, kids' books are 50 cents, CDs 79 cents, movies $1, records. But it's generally so picked over. Holy crap, are you kidding me? Well, that's gonna make it worth stopping. So those are adult books at 79 cents a piece. So on stuff like clothes that all become one price, and I'm looking for more Foxfire books, sometimes it is worth checking places like this that are just ridiculous, because stuff slips. Like, not everybody's gonna know that this is a thing, and it's easier to just put it out on the floor and miss putting $5 a piece on these, instead of feeling like they have to look through every book because they get a lot of book donations. DVDs and Blu-rays are 79 cents, 99 cents. They've got a handful here that appear to be sealed. Oh, I think they're like dollar store sealed. Sneak over. That's not pretending it's Stranger Things or anything. Vanquish. I mean, if I had any sense, I would either comp all of these or not bother looking, but I don't have any sense. And then there's weird pelts that are $80. Wonder what kind of, looks like a sheep. Sheep, yeah. More toys and games, and they tend to not price these super high. So if you find a good one, it might be priced reasonably. I think the only thing that I saw was Reflex might be good. I'll comp that one and put it on the screen. And what was the other one? There's Ultimate Outburst Perfection. That's, so yeah, 99 cents for Perfection. The thing that's good about Perfection is the pieces are worth something. I decided that the Perfection is big and awkward and I don't want to deal with it. So it's probably worth picking up if I needed inventory, but I need less inventory. And so I'm going to leave it there. But the Foxfire books are a banger find. I am not seeing this time a lot of like laughable prices, which is good. That's encouraging. I like that. They're doing Christmas in July. So we're going to do these Foxfire books. I'm going to go look at the shoes and see if there's anything. And if there is, we'll get it. If there's not, we'll be done. So I spent $2.60 exactly, and I'll probably list these for 25 bucks. And I'll make $20. Well, we had a pretty good day. Thanks for tagging along. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.